So I've been suggested the idea of a dev diary. I like that idea. So welcome to this my first dev diary. Thanks Martish for giving the idea. Anyway, so I'm making a cool little game with a couple buddies, you know. Wait a second. Something went wrong horribly. Oh no. Alright. Basically, the game doesn't really exist yet. There is no game yet, right? There is game, no, right? Because the main current focus is actually making the scripting system. But before that was the focus, I made a little thing. I'm sure, like, all of you know how blurry the source lighting looks like, mainly how blocky it is. Well, look at this. Yeah, so you might think that I just increased the detail, right? No. I can prove it to you. I can prove it to you that this is actually very blocky. I think. Unless I messed something up. Never mind, I messed something up. But you can see clearly that even with a Luxor scale of 4, this would look jagged, right? But what? You know? Like even like here, for example, look at this spot. Ignoring this, you can see that it looks quite nice, even though it is, well, blocky. How do they do that, you might ask yourself? Well, there is this thing called an SDF. And an SDF is basically just kind of a way to render a binary, so like monochrome, you know, black or white, image with a grayscale image while preserving a lot more detail and sharpness of the thing. What I'm doing is storing the distance to the nearest edge in the pixel. I can, if you look at it now on the screen, there should be like a, you know, image portraying what I mean. So every pixel in this image is just a distance. The brighter it is, the further away it is, right? Or the reverse, whatever. You get what I mean. I can use that to determine where the edges, like, happen and perfectly not even perfect, but just reconstruct a very sharp image from pixelated data. Of course, it's still a big work in progress. As you can clearly see, there are some issues with it. But this technique has been already used by Unreal Engine 3. Yeah, this technique was used 15 years ago, but nobody has ever done this in Source. This technique is also used in Unreal Engine 4, and I didn't even know about all of that, because, well, I just didn't look up it properly. Basically what I looked up was SDF light mapping instead of SDF shadows, which of course totally different things, but when I looked up SDF shadows, after I made the implementation of this, I was like, oh, this was done before. I was already getting ready to write a paper about, you know, this technique, like a research paper. But anyway, what is this game, you might ask yourself? Because I've been rambling about lighting for, I don't know, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever. Well, you see that this game is called Alienbox. You might have read the title. Might. So, Alienbox is going to be kind of like a GMOD-esque game with a focus on total freedom. It is based on the SDK, like Alien Swarm SDK. That's what the name is, Alienbox. So, Alienbox is going to feature not Lua, but Squirrel, not vscript, but our own scripting system. This scripting system is in very early development, but it already allows you to make your own entity. I don't mean like having a generic scripted entity like GMOD has. No, I mean a completely new entity with its own send table, like networking, key values. You could even use the entity in Hammer. Yeah, like this is kind of already possible. Let me, like, I don't know, showcase some of the code right now. So, you can see that it's basically kind of a JavaScript-esque language, but here's the real kicker. It is so small. This language is like, what, 6K lines of code, an entire language? Unlike JavaScript, which requires a whole fucking engine to run. This just runs, you know? So it's great. And you can see that it's already different from what GMOD offers you, because here you literally just extend a entity from the game and you can do shit with it. For example, you can have like a class, right? You can have like a class with your own thing, make a new entity, like you just link a new entity to a class. That's what you do in C++, but now you can do it also in Squirrel and it actually works. You can have a send prop, for example. There's also like data desks for key values, if you know what the key values are the properties of an entity that you use in Hammer, in the Hammer editor. So cool, right? It's fine. Like you can have like an attribute to a variable. Okay, that's nice. How is this gonna be like different from GMOD? Well, imagine now this. You can literally make your own player character now. Like that. Like, I'm not talking about having limitations, because you will be literally able to do what we can do. You will have access to like DLLs which we provide you. For example, let's say something like GWater will be totally possible with bindings that we will make. Imagine like VR support from like OpenVR or whatever, which you can just do, right? The sky is the limit, basically. And it's not a case of, oh, this is limited by Lua. No, you won't be limited. Of course, there will be limitations for like safety, like for example, type checks and other validation checks, but you won't be like restricted by whatever we bind. No, because we will bind literally everything we can. We will bind everything we possibly can, and it will take some time, but we're already making steady progress for it. For example, we made the easiest binding system of all time, basically, where you just have a function from whatever, and you just wrap it like this, and it will just work, right? That's the plan, that's how it works right now. For stuff like pointers, for like classes, of course, you have to do, you know, your own type conversions, which you can, of course, define like this, convert from CPP, convert to CPP, like whatever. It's a whole thing, right? And I try to make it as easy as I can, and it's very easy to do. There are still many issues we have to solve, which we will, of course. And, oh, by the way, this is how the client looks like. Also, basically the same thing, you just have whatever, right? It's nice. So, what? I'm gonna just like, recreate GMOD now? No. Why would they make another, why would I make a GMOD clone? I want to have fun with this, So, let me draw something real quick. Actually, no, I'm gonna show you something in the game itself. Look at this couch, right? So, right now, wait a second, did I mess this up? Why can't I pick this up now? Aha, yeah, that's great. That's actually great because like you could originally pick this up with just your normal, like you could hold any weapon, right? So the plan was, and is still, you basically can have any weapon at any time, and you can always pick up a prop with E or something, or like F, whatever. We'll think about that. And you can move it like you would move it with the physics gun, but you can do it while holding a weapon. Because like, why would you need a specific gun to manipulate stuff in a sandbox game? That doesn't really make sense. So the plan is that we just, make it able to pick literally anything up, rotate it, move it around. Same also in VR, you could also do the same thing in VR. And, you can just manipulate physics objects. We plan to add weapons, like fun weapons, like for example, like a fire extinguisher, like a boxing gloves. Oh yeah, the alien box. Yeah, so imagine like an alien box, like a box with an alien inside of it. That's the weapon. You just take the alien out, throw it, and then after some time it returns to the box. That's the joke. It's funny. Oh yeah, also skateboard. I want to add a skateboard to the game. I want to add a skateboard to the game as a default mod. By the way, yes, they are called mods, not adults. They're called mods because you know. So, the thing is that we need developers. Yeah, I know this talk of, yeah, we need developers. But genuinely, like, what? What am I supposed to do by myself, Like, people expect developers to do everything by themselves. No, that's just isn't how it's supposed to work. That's not how it works. Teamwork is the key to success. So if people are gonna be like, oh yeah, go rolled, that will never work. That's a key problem in just development in general. People expect the developers to do everything while they sit and do absolutely nothing. Like, I get that humans are indeed lazy, but how about you take fun out of what you make? Like, laziness comes from the fact that you don't want to do something. Why don't you want to do that thing? Why don't you want to make a model? Why don't you want to make some music? Why don't you want to make a texture? Why don't you want to make a pull request or something? Like, take enjoyment, find out the positive things about it, and just do something, right? Doesn't have to be for this, just anything. So, my main deal is that if you know C++, have experience with source engine in general, or just literally just wanna know, learn something new, I don't know, talk with me or something, you know where to find me. So, genuinely, it is a big problem of mine, since 2 years, where I start a project, people will be like, oh yeah, go World, and then nobody will actually help out. People will always have their own reasons why they can't do anything today, even small things, which that's like what I expect from people, just even like a small pull request, small commit with like small code change, literally whatever. That's because like people are always eager to do everything else than code. That's what I've noticed basically. People will happily set up GitHub Actions. People will happily set up your project. People will happily set up like metadata or whatever, like, but not actually write code. Is it just an issue with me or what? Because I always expect from people that like they would want to code something, right? Like, what's the issue with coding, right? I always hated to do like everything else in coding because that's just boring. Like, why would you mind? Why would they want to set up GitHub Actions for like what? Like why would I do that? You know, like I don't see the reason. Like I'll just make a build myself. So I always took a moral enjoyment from coding, and I to see people do exactly the opposite always. Like it's not a one case basis. No, that happens many times. Like example, Cheditor, Sourcebox, Sources PnP examples. All of them have people. When there was a person that was actually, wanted to be developer, they just did everything else than coding. Literally everything else. So if you like understand that issue and like you kind of like, oh yeah I feel ya, like consider really just helping me out. If you really like don't have anything really to do and you're looking for something to procrastinate your other project on, which I'm talking about, maybe consider this. Genuinely, like, I don't want to be alone on this. Nobody wants to be alone on their project. And I already have like 1-2 developers. They're fine, I guess. They do make commits sometimes. But yeah, they still suffer from that issue I spoke. They usually work like this. I have like a new developer. They commit for like 1 week, less, and then they just like disappear, and then they always have some problem, like issue, which I'm not really forcing them to do anything. Like I just know, okay, if you can't do it, then it's fine. But like, what am I supposed to do now? Just carry this entire thing on my back? Well, I'm gonna have back problems, Like I can't just do everything myself. That's not how it works. So yeah, kind of a ramble it was, but consider really helping me out if you want to. So that was the first dev diary of Alienbox. If you want to know more about the project, consider just joining the Discord server in the description. Because the Discord server, this is the final one. Right? This is the final Discord server. I will not be making new Discord servers. Source, by the way, what happened to SPMP? SPMP got, a moderator, who I'm not gonna name, just nuked the server because of some stupid drama. Stupid! Involving me banning some asshole from my server. Not even involving SPMP. So, it is what it is. That person is no longer in my life. And as I said before, SPMP was a great time. I met so many cool people there, but I guess it just had to go because I didn't really take care of it. And what happened. So the nuke happened. There's a new server now, and I promise it's going to be the last server I make, because some people know how many servers I made. Like, oh, new project, new server kind of thing. No, not anymore. So Thank you for watching. I guess see you next time. Goodbye.